what shapes we're going to be having in the cylinder.
Circle.
Circle. Do we know how to find the area of a circle?
Yeah.
What is that, Davis?
Pi r squared.
Okay, so we have 1. How many circles are we going to have? 2. So we're going to take that times 2. So we have pi r squared, pi r squared. 2 of them. Now, if we're given the height of our cylinder, still, how do we find the area of this curved part? Skylar, what do you think?
Well, since it looks like up there, it's a square.
Right, if we get the net, what shape is that? So if we are given the height, how do we find the base, though? What do you think?
Find the circumference of the circle, and that's the length.
So that's where this GeoGebra comes into play. If I'm given this cylinder, and I cut it open, there's one circle, right? Find the area of one of those. Plus, there's our other circle. 2 areas of circle. Now, if I cut the rounded part, it forms into that rectangle. Notice it has our height, but what is our base? It doesn't have it labeled. Well, watch closely. When we open it, what's it form? What is the outline of that length? It's closed into a what? What's the length of that rectangle?
It's the perimeter of, or the outside of the circle.
Right. It's the outside of that circle. So when I cut it open, that length is still the outside of that circle stretched out. And what do we call the outside of a circle? The distance, circumference. So that's where this is actually circumference. And what's our formulas that we use for circumference, Leah? 2 pi r, perfect. Who can tell me the other one, Megan?
Pi diameter.
Or, yep, pi diameter. Whichever one you're most comfortable with or most familiar with. That's where we get our length. So if we go back to here, that's also called the lateral area. If we had a soup can, the rectangle is our lateral area, which is the label. So if we want to find this rectangle, we're only finding the label on the outside, which is just that rectangle, nothing else. So that's what we're going to find. We're going to find the soup can. So what did we just say that the label was? Part of the cylinder? Carla?
It's the circumference around the, or like the circle.
That's the what part of the rectangle?
The area.
The what?
The area.
We're trying to find the area of the rectangle, right?
Yeah.
So first, what's our formula for the area of a rectangle?
Base times height.
Base times height. Now you're telling me circumference. That's the what of the rectangle?
The area, or like the perimeter.
Which dimension in here? If this is our height, what's the circumference part?
The outside of it.
Right, the base of that rectangle. So that's where we get our circumference equals 2 pi r, like Leah said. So then we're going to plug it right into here. Our base, 2 pi r, times our height. That will give us the whole area of that rectangle. Now, if we're given that cylinder, our soup can, Kate, what does it tell us our radius is?
13 centimeters.
13 centimeters. Devin, what does it tell us our height is? 10 centimeters. We want to find just this lateral area. So we're going to plug it in. 2 pi we're already given. Radius, 13, times our height, which is 10. So on our calculator, what do we get?
116.81.
0.81.
Yeah.
And what's our label?
Centimeters squared.
Squared, because we just found the area of that rectangle. Now, a quick little review. So our last test we struggled with rounding and which place value is which. So this is the what place value? Tens. This is the ones. Now careful, what's this? Tenths. Okay? This one's not the tenths because this is the tens and the whole numbers. This is the tenths. This is the hundredths. So, if I say to round this to the tenths, what's it going to be, Angela? If I round this number to the tenths.
816.8.
Good. Okay? So I know that might be a little far back in the head, but we got to remember that our tenths and hundredths are different. A lot of us got confused. We thought this was the tenths value, tenths place, okay? This is the tenths. So, here's our lateral area. Once we have that, how do we find the whole surface area? We have the area of our circle times 2, which Megan just said was what? Pi r squared, and we have 2 of them. Plus, we have to have the area of what shape does that lateral area become? Area of the rectangle. And how did we get the area of the rectangle? Base times height. 2 pi r times the height. So we plug in. Via, what was our radius that we said of the soup can?
Radius.
Yep. 13, yep. So what do we get for the area of a circle? Dalton, you got your calculator?
I'm going to do 2 by
You can do that already if you want.
30 squared.
You can do the whole thing.
1,061.8.
Is that what we got? Now, do you have to go through all this work to plug each number in, or did we already find the area of that rectangle? What did we find here? We already found the area of the rectangle, right? So do we need to go through all that work again? No, we just take this, put it right in there. So we get 816.8. Now we have area of our 2 circles and the area of our rectangle. What do we need to do to find the total surface area?
Add
Add them together. So what do we get?
1,878.7.
What's our label? Centimeters squared. So there's our total surface area. If we're given our radius and we're given our height, we can find our whole total surface area. 2 circles and the rectangle. Now, what if we're given the surface area and we have to find a missing piece? We've had to do this with other solids too. How do we do this? Right. Whatever we're given, we plug in what we know to find what we don't know. So, I'm going to go straight through our formula. Are we given surface area over here?
Yes.
What are we given? What is this 108 pi? What does it tell us that is of our cylinder, Tanner?
Area.
108 pi is what of our cylinder? What does it tell us it is?
Surface area.
Tanner?
Surface area?
Right. So, we're given that. We just plug it in. 108 pi. Now, the area of the circle. Can we find the area of the circle? Does it give us everything we need? What was it? 2 pi. We're given the radius? Right? We're given the radius. Area of the rectangle. If we cut that open, are we given the height? No. So, our x is our height. We're given the radius though, right? How do we solve that now? What do we need to get along? The x. So we put everything together. What's 3 squared times 2?
56.5.
18.
9, 18 pi. I'm going to leave it all in pi. You'll see why at the end. What's this? 3 times 2? 6 pi x. These two aren't the same. We can't combine them because they're not like variables. So we have to get rid of this 18 pi. Cancels out. So I'm left with 108 pi minus 18 pi equals 6 pi x. How do I get x alone? Divide by 6 pi. What do all three of these numbers have in common? So I can factor out the pi. Take 108 minus 18 divided by 6, and we get 108 minus 18, the whole divided by 6?
15.
15. Okay? So, you have an assignment, 2 assignments. Book assignment back there, page 807, 3, 9 through 11, 14, 22. It's also up on the board.